live it out as if you believe that. And when I say live it out, it doesn't mean to just tell people, I believe in a God. Living it out means when Jesus says, if someone slaps you on the cheek, turn the other cheek. It means actually doing that. It means going out of your way to pull, if you have something that you know can bless another person in their time of need, but you know what, it's something that you want, or something that you have that you cherish, that you want, it's giving it to that person, putting their needs, their wants, and their desires ahead of your own. It's loving people with an unconditional love, the same way that that Jesus showed and lived out for us. There is no physical evidence that, Jesus was here on earth because he was born of a virgin, and then, according to the scriptures, after he died, he resurrected. So, go figure, you're not going to have a body to prove where Jesus is. It's all a matter of faith. It's a matter of believing that, he was the Son of God. He was God in physical form. He did come to this earth, to an undeserving world, and he did die for the sins or for the punishment that we deserved. It's not a matter of physical evidence. It's a matter of faith. That's all it is. You can go into countless different aspects of what it is, but there is no physical evidence that you can believe in that. It's just not there. And I believe God did that for a reason, because if you can see something, if you can know that it's there, then that's not putting full trust in it. That's putting full trust in the architect behind it. If I can see this table, I know that this table was there because I have confidence that someone built it. It didn't just show up. You have to have some sort of belief that there is something out there that created this world that loves us enough to do these things for us that we can't see, so that we will call upon him and that we will rely on him with everything that we believe in. And I forgot the last thing that he had said, and I can't even think. So that's my
levels of certainty.
What is what?
Levels of certainty. How I can know things with levels of certainty.
And levels of certainty. The only way you can have a level of certainty is literally by living it out. Example from my own life. I was once in the same shoes that Alex was in. I was I was raised a Lutheran. I was pretty much drugged to church every day of my life, and I hated it. I did not believe in a God because why do children starve to death? Why do we go through half the stuff that we go through in our life? And the reason for that being is the only way that I came to know and have my faith in the God that I believe in is by fully surrendering and sacrificing what I want to do for the life that I think that he wants me to have and the life that I think he wants me to go. It's even levels of certainty. The only way you can be certain of what you are believing in is to live it out. And the more you live it out, the more experience you get, and the more confident that you're going to be in the Maker. And then sooner or later, something just snaps. And it doesn't matter who or what tells you what. It doesn't matter if every single piece of evidence in the world is pointing away from this. You are still going to have your faith, and you're still going to believe in the God that created you and me and that did everything that he has done for us. That's the only way I can get my level of certainty.
Thank you, Kevin. Everybody, before I go on, I want to acknowledge 3 more people who have just shown up. I want to acknowledge Dr. Daniel Rodriguez, who is a co-sponsor of this and the Director of Student Activities at Palo Alto. I want to acknowledge Mr. Peter Van Dusen, who is another esteemed philosophy teacher at PAC and is currently the evening working. And because this is Palo Alto, this is the kind of stuff that happens. We have Dr. Stacy Johnson, who happens to be the Vice President for Academic Affairs at Palo Alto College, in our audience. Now, everybody, I want to try to put these guys on the spot a little bit, because what you've really heard from is the skeptic and the existentialist. You've heard from the skeptic and the existentialist. The skeptic says there's no evidence, and so why would you believe something about which there's no evidence? And the existentialist says you simply have to live it out. In fact, I think Tanner used some words that are magic for me, which is as if. You have to live as if God exists. All right, now I'm going to sit in the middle of these two guys as the philosopher, because of course what I value is reason. What I value is I'm not a scientist. I'm not looking for material evidence. I'm not an existentialist. I mean, actually I am, but for the purpose of this debate, okay. Let's say that I'm not just an existentialist, but I'm also somebody who tremendously values the last 2,000 years of philosophical questioning the use and the power of human reason. So I want to ask these guys whether they think that there are reasons for believing in God. And that's not the same thing. Are y'all getting me on this?
Right.
This isn't the same thing as asking, is there material evidence for the existence of God? Nor is it asking, is the only way that we can talk about the potential existence of God is through really the existential moral life, all right? Are there reasons for not believing or for believing in God?
Well, the reasons, the reason not to believe there is a God is because it's just not true. Truth is empirical. Things that are true, if I thought I could fly one day and I jump out of a building and it's not true, there's not going to be an outcome. Truth in itself, in its very nature, is innately good because it is the truth. It benefits because it's true. You kept saying, I'm sorry I have to get back to this, you kept saying faith. I have faith that Zeus exists. Did it work? Do y'all believe? Y'all don't believe in Zeus? No. It doesn't work that way. Faith doesn't attribute reason to believe. Faith doesn't even attribute the likelihood that it is true. Faith says, I believe without evidence. That does nothing in the argument, I think. Maybe it does. Maybe if I say I have faith in Zeus enough times, people will start believing me. But why would they believe me? There would be no reason to believe me. There would be no rationale behind it. You also said, you hinted at ID, intelligent design theory, where things are too complex. You see that it's complex and must need a designer. If that were to be true, God has to, it's an infinite regress because who created God then? If material is so complex, they'll say he's the Alpha Omega within the Bible, then the universe could be the Alpha Omega. It's an infinite regress. I could say one more. You're just adding another. It's an ad hoc, doesn't work the same with policies. But when you say that things that are complex must need a designer who have created something so complex as the universe has to be infinitely more complex. You see what I'm saying? And to say that the infinitely more complex, then that needs an infinitely more complex creator, and so on and so forth. So to say that this shows need of a designer is wrong. You said you must live it, you must believe it to believe it, basically. You must live it and act as though it were true. You might as well act as though you believe it and then believe it. So you're saying if you believe, then you believe? Well, if I believe, then there's no reason to convince me to believe. I already believe. You're saying believe and then you'll believe. It doesn't work that way. Believe in Zeus, he is real. Okay, now you believe it. Good for you. No, it's not true. It doesn't work in the argument. I don't see anything that would have convinced me so far. I'm taking you seriously. But when you say faith, no evidence, no reason to change my mind. When you say live it and then you will find out, well, if I'm living it, then I'm already it. There's no reason to want to try to live it. And when you say, you jumped, I'm sorry, I'm going to just read it. You said if everyone just turned the other cheek, the world would be a better place. I addressed this in my aforementioned. It's a non sequitur. It doesn't say anything about God's existence. I could tell you, Ryan, it could work as a police super. I could say 3 things that would be more helpful than the Bible itself. Love truth and science and learn more, love your neighbors, and recycle. And then, that's true, and then the world would be a better place. Now, if you don't do these things, you'll be sent to another dimension where a 20-headed demon named Bob will eat you. Does that create any substance for the 20-headed demon Bob? Or dog? Or G-O-D? No. Or devil? It doesn't assert any more evidence for anything. I don't see any reasons, and lack of reasons is the reason why you shouldn't be. If there are no reasons, that's the very reason not to be. Reasons are contagious. If I don't have to, he doesn't have to say anything. If he said something that was true, it would be registered automatically, and he wouldn't have to convince me. 1 + 1 is 2. It's transcendent. It goes beyond one culture. The Christians came up with chemistry. The Muslims came up with algebra. We don't call it Muslim algebra. We don't call it Christian chemistry. The things that were true, the chemistry, works here in the United States. Christians can do chemistry. Muslims can do chemistry. Muslims can do Christian chemistry. The same way. Buddhists can do chemistry.